Hey, Your Belinda, are you a fan of wood-fired cooking? Then you're not going to want to miss today's small business spotlight, because today I'm sitting down with Nick, and he's the owner of Terra Wood-Fired Kitchen, and we're going to discuss a little bit about him so you can get to know him more on a personal level, how he came up with this award-winning concept, and then at the end we're going to discuss a little bit about his future plans on how he's going to expand this concept further into Your Belinda. So you're not going to want to miss today's episode, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So today I am here with Nick from Terra Wood-Fired Kitchen. Nick, thanks for inviting me into this beautiful restaurant of yours.
Thank you for being here.
So this is one of probably the top requested interviews because a lot of people come here, they love the food here. So I wanted to sit down with you, and before we get into the actual food part of things, let's let Your Belinda get to know you a little bit better. So can you kind of give us a little bit of information about yourself outside of going through the restaurant stuff?
Okay, yeah, well, I was born and raised in Downey, California, and went to Downey High, was a baseball player. You know, as I grew up, we eventually moved to Yorba Linda. My parents actually moved here in 1989. And several years later, I moved my family here. And we've been here 31 years now.
So outside of the restaurant side of things, what do you do for your free time, your spare time? What do you like to do?
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, running a business, it takes a lot of time and effort. But I really try and spend some quality time with the family and friends. I stay active in either athletics or running, playing golf, and sometimes just decompressing at home.
You probably need to after long days at the restaurant every day. So how did you end up getting into the restaurant industry then?
Well, you know, I started cooking when I was very young. It grew as a passion for me. I used to cook for my friends and family when I was young. I mean, even if we go camping, I would end up doing the cooking. And I've been in the industry, you know, my entire career as a chef and a food and beverage executive for several restaurant companies. So, and it's really been the passion that's driven it. So,
So you were basically in the industry beforehand. What kind of made you want to take that jump to own your own restaurant?
Well, I've always wanted to do my own restaurant. You know, we back in 2001, we built a wood-fired oven in the backyard. And we used to do a lot of entertaining with friends and family, and it kind of grew from there. And I just saw it as an opportunity. And then I eventually bought a mobile wood-fired oven, and we started a mobile catering business. Doing farmers markets, street fairs, and that allowed me to put my product out to the community. And it was mainly pizza. And then in 2008, I had the opportunity to buy this building that we're in which is in the historic district. And my hope was to convert it to a restaurant. And that's kind of, you know, 10 years later, we started construction and opened in 2019. So So for anybody that hasn't been here before, you've been here for a while now, but for someone that hasn't been in, they're coming in the first time, what kind of food, what kind of atmosphere can they expect in here? Well, you know, when we set out to create this concept, we kind of wanted to replicate what we had in our backyard. There's a connection with your friends and family watching you cook, being part of the experience. And that's how we came up with Terra. It's a very open air concept. We wanted it to be a social dining destination, and I think we've created that. So even when you look at our menu, it appeals to everyone. And Your Belinda is very much a family community. There's a lot of foodies in Your Belinda, so you could bring anybody, any age group, and we'll have something for them on the menu.
Okay.
We do almost all wood-fired cooking, so
Okay.
there's no gas assist oven or the grill. It's 100% wood.
Okay.
And you know, I look at it as an ingredient to what we do. You can't really replicate that with gas.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so someone coming in the first time, you've been here long enough, and I know things kind of change seasonally just from coming here often enough, but in terms of someone coming in, want to try a meal for the first time, what are maybe some of the top recommendations you might have for them to try something out that's kind of your staples here?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously our handcrafted pizzas are, we're known for that.
Yeah.
But we're much more than just pizza.
Okay.
We do a lot of seafood, steaks. If you like fish, we do a great Chilean sea bass.
Yep.
And the salmon we use is an Ora King salmon from New Zealand, which is about the highest quality you can get.
Yeah.
And you know, so those are definitely some recommendations. And again, if you have, you know, for the younger clientele who want an over-the-top mac and cheese, we do that too.
Okay.
So
a little bit of everything then.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then we were kind of talking off camera beforehand, and I know you bring it up to guests when they're here as well, but you're also starting to expand into other ventures within Main Street as well. Can you kind of talk about a little bit of what you're planning for the future in terms of opening up some other new shops around here?
Sure. Well, again, we've been here over 5 years. This past July was 5 years, and we have really connected with the community.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know them. And so I had another opportunity to acquire another property right here on Main Street. Okay. Again, the potential here is great.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to play off of Terra, and we're looking at doing a butchery and market.
Okay.
Right across the street. It's going to be called the Artisan by Terra. Okay. And it's going to be pretty ambitious, but I think the community is going to really enjoy it. You know, we're going to do, you know, house-made gelato, pastas, sandwiches. Okay. And there'll be a market and cafe element to it as well.
Oh, okay.
So about a year ago, we started doing dry aging. So you'll see that featured on our menu here. And over at the Artisan, you'll be able to come in, buy cuts of dry aged meat, take it home. Okay. And then we'll also be doing dry curing, so making our own salamis. And it's something that I became fascinated with years ago, and I've always wanted to, you know, create something like that. So,
okay. Yeah. And that's something kind of out in the future. You're saying maybe probably sometime next year is when you're thinking of getting that started up and running?
Yeah, we just started a demo, which, you know, it was a couple years in the making, but we're finally moving ahead. But it'll be early part to mid next year. Got it. When we're hopefully open.
Yeah, okay. Which is always hard to say, especially trying to get everything built, always delays, things like that. But okay, sounds good. And then the last question that I always like to ask on this channel is why Your Belinda? So why did you choose to open up your restaurant inside Your Belinda?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, my parents moved to Your Belinda in '89, and a few years later, my wife and I and we had a young daughter. She was 6 months old at the time. We were on the market looking for homes, and you know, everywhere we looked, kept coming back to Your Belinda. You know, the tax rate and all the things that were appealing, and we've been here 31 years. Okay. And being in the food business, I definitely saw an opportunity here. Yep. The community wants to be able to dine out and stay local. Yes. And we've been able to create that. So that's really what drove it. Yeah, and we appreciate that. And like I've said many times on this channel, that was one of the things when I was growing up here too. I was always looking for more restaurants, places around here that you can go out and eat. And it seems like over the last couple of years, we're really starting to see a lot of these restaurants open up, and you can really have a great dining experience inside Your Belinda without having to leave anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for coming to the show today. I really appreciate it. If you haven't tried them out yet, I highly recommend definitely coming in, trying them out. The dry aged is delicious. I've had that before, and I definitely recommend the pizza as well. So everybody, until next week,
Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everyone.